What's good, people? Welcome back to my channel. It's Jem here. Scrum Master Screw Ups. Let's get straight into it. This is a time whereby, as a Scrum Master, I used to allow teams to solve problems at the daily Scrum. Now, I know what you're thinking. You're like, isn't it the point of the daily Scrum? A team come together, identify the things that are getting in their way, they resolve these things, and make sure they can progress towards a sprint goal. Well, not exactly. There's a big difference between surfacing problems and solving problems. If everybody was to try and solve a problem at the daily Scrum, you could be looking at an additional minute or two for each person. And even in a team of say 7, that's a really long time. I mean, 15 minutes is one thing, but 20 to 25 minutes, that's a lot longer. So what's actually happening here? Let's use a metaphor. Imagine that we're in a bakery and we're baking cakes and cupcakes, and one of the developers rocks up, a developer or a baker, should we say, okay, I'm working on this type of cake today. It's a gluten-free banana cake. And when I'm trying to stir the flour in, for whatever reason, the flour is not sticking very well with the eggs and it's not working. Another developer jumps in, baker jumps in and says, hey, actually, I've used that type of gluten-free flour, and what you need to do is you need to whisk the eggs in this way, you need to add some xanthan gum, introduce some tapioca flour, and it will help the binding process. Now, as well intended as that is, what's happening here is someone has surfaced a problem and now somebody is trying to solve it. What we want to really be able to do is to facilitate a developer or the team or the baker, whoever, to surface that there's something wrong. When somebody says, hey, you know, I'm a master gluten-free baker and I deal with those types of issues, that's the perfect time to say, okay, guys, cool, you can offline that. You might be worried about the distribution of knowledge and other people's learning, and you're thinking, but other people may want to know. No problem. Tell others, say to others, if anybody wants to learn about gluten-free banana cakes and how to get the flour to stick around with these two, they can show you the ropes. This is a really tricky balance to try and get as a Scrum Master or as an Agile coach, because I found in my career, at first I used to allow conversations to be really open, where they'd raise issues and people would solve issues, because I didn't want to stop people from talking, because there was good information happening. And then I went the other way, whereby I sometimes jumped the gun and deter people from speaking up about, hey, I know how to solve that problem. So this is a tricky balance, and it involves practice. And my tip to you would be to make it clear to the team what you're trying to do, because it's definitely in their interest. Like, you could say to them, look, guys, I want to make sure that we stick to our time box, because, you know, we want to keep engagement high and we don't want to be there for a length of time that's not needed. And one of the ways I want to do that is through saying we should be surfacing issues and problems and offlining them, rather than surfacing and solving them in the daily Scrum. And then they can keep you honest. So if you offline something too quick, they could give you a nudge and say, well, hold up, you know, actually, we've not raised the information that we need to, so on and so forth. It's really, really important to understand why the time box needs to be kept short. And we want to have the right level of information at the daily Scrum so that we keep engagement up and it doesn't feel like an onerous, you know, overhead for the team. Okay, that's my Scrum Master Screw Up. I think Max has had enough of me as well. Please feel free to like and subscribe. I'm going to keep coming with these daily Scrum Master Screw Ups. What's he heard? And I will see you shortly. Thank you. You're going to say bye, Max? No, he's not.